Welcome everyone to our weekly NBA Trends video here at SBR Forum. I'm Jordan Sharp. This week I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go into a segment that I like to call Against the Spread, Heroes and Zeros. And we're going to go through which teams are looking really good here early in the season against the spread and which teams that you need to keep fading. We'll start, of course, with the undefeated New York Knicks, who are, of course, 6-0 and 6-0 against the spread as well, which is very miraculous. Now, before the season started, I was not too high on the Knicks. I knew they'd be a playoff team, but I didn't think they'd make much of a splash like they did last year. However, even without Amari Stoudemire, which I consider a pretty good thing, it looks as if they figured something out, and they look to be one of the best 4 or 5 teams out in the East. It is still early, so let's not overreact. I'm not yet ready to call them a title contender, but they are undefeated against the spread. The Wolves out west are a surprising 6-2 against the spread, even with all the injuries they've been having, with no Kevin Love and no Ricky Rubio this entire season, as well as a lot of their other role players banged up right now. They continue to cover spreads, and they're in action tonight. Look at them. Another 6-2 team against the spread of the Clippers, another team that I didn't think was going to do much better than what they did last year. They're kind of like the Knicks equivalent out west. They've been playing really well, and they might look like it could be a title contender this year. They're 6-2 against the spread, so keep an eye out for them. My Memphis Grizzlies are 6-1, a team that holds a special place in my heart. They're 6-1 against the spread, and they are doing phenomenal this season, and they are outperforming definitely what they did last year, and are looking like a strong favorite to make a run in the West this season. The Hornets, surprisingly, the Hornets are 5-1 against the spread, and they are in action this evening as well against the Thunder. They have been playing phenomenally even without their star guard, Eric Gordon. They are a really good defensive team, even though they're not scoring a lot. Other teams aren't scoring a lot either, and they're playing solid basketball right now without one of their stars and with a lot of young players. So keep an eye out for them because they have been undervalued a lot recently. Finally, for my heroes, the Spurs, even though they lost the other night, they are still 5-3-1 against the spread. They started out incredible against the spread last year. I believe they touched 65% to begin the season against the spread last year, and they are continuing on that route this year. I don't understand why these guys keep being undervalued. Keep looking at them because they're going to continue covering some spreads that you might think they wouldn't. Now we're going to the zero segment. We got to start with the Sacramento Kings. They are 1-6-1 against the spread. The Kings look absolutely lost. They lost to Marcus Cousins for a few games and looked even more lost, but they just cannot get it together, and they look like a team that might have already checked out only after a couple weeks of the regular season. Plus, they've been the circle of a lot of rumors recently about moving and relocation, so I don't expect the Kings to be that good this year already, but they might be one of the worst so far, especially against the spread. The Suns are 2-7 against the spread, and they've also been underperforming, but it's not just because they're bad, it's more just because of the lack of chemistry. They have a lot of new parts. They're trying to rebuild after post-Nash, and although they are still a pretty good team, and I think will continue to be a solid team, right now they are just stinky against the spread, so you got to stay away from them. The Hawks, surprisingly, are 2-5 against the spread. And a lot of people picked this team to be pretty good this season, and they have kind of stunk it up and pretty average right now, even though they've had a few injuries here and there. But they just really can't get their backcourt together right now, so they're definitely fade material here early on. Finally, as you can see, my Bulls 2-6 against the spread so far. Even without Derrick Rose, they're going to continue to lose close games, and not be able to cover bigger spreads against teams they should be able to cover against this season. I think the Bulls will continue to be a fade team, unfortunately, until Derrick Rose returns next year. That'll do it for the NBA Trends video this time. Make sure you check back next week for my Thursday parlay as well as next week's NBA Trends video. But until then, I'm Jordan Sharp. Enjoy this weekend's games in the NBA.